You wake up at 2:45 a.m. for no reason. 40,000 years ago, this guy woke up for a very good reason. Back then, death wasn't a concept, it was basically your roommate. It followed you into the fields when you hunted. It waited outside the cave when the fire burned low. And at night, when you closed your eyes, it got even closer. 60,000 years ago, two kinds of humans were walking the earth. Us, Homo sapiens, and the Neanderthal. Same continent, sometimes the very same valley. Same predators stalking both of you in the dark. Same freezing nights, the same hunger, the same fear. And for over 300,000 years, they were doing just fine. Then, somewhere around 40,000 years ago, they vanished. And no, it's not because they were dumb cavemen who couldn't figure out fire. Forget what you learned in school. Neanderthals had bigger brains than us in some measurements. They survived ice ages that would kill most of us in a week. They buried their dead. They made tools. They probably had language. So what actually happened? Anthropologists have thrown a dozen theories at this. Climate change, disease, getting outcompeted for food. But there's a stranger theory floating around the edges of sleep science. And it has nothing to do with tools or weather or war. The clue isn't in what they built, it's in what they did lying down with their eyes closed. Scientists digging through ancient sleeping sites, places like Shanidar Cave in Iraq, think the answer might be hiding somewhere stranger than a fossil. It might be hiding in dreams. There's a real theory in sleep science called threat simulation theory, proposed by a Finnish researcher named Antti Revonsuo back in the year 2000. It states something wild. Dreaming is essentially an ancient defense mechanism. Your brain runs a nightly rehearsal of danger, predators, falling, fighting, getting chased, so that when the real thing happens while you're awake, part of you has already practiced it. Researchers have found this pattern across all kinds of dreams. Children's dreams, recurring nightmares, even the dreams of modern hunter-gatherer tribes who still live close to the wild. Threats show up again and again, and dreamers tend to react the same way. Hide, freeze, or run. Simple as that. Practice the nightmare tonight. Survive the real one tomorrow. Here's the problem, though. Humans are basically defenseless at night. No claws, no night vision, no fangs, no fur thick enough to matter. Every other predator on the savannah could see in the dark better than we could. The only weapon we ever really had was a brain that could rehearse. During the day, there was no time to plan. You were too busy hunting, gathering, chipping stone, carrying wood, just not dying. Sleep was the only time your brain ever got to sit down and actually think. And what it apparently chose to think about, night after night, was how not to die tomorrow. Now here's where it gets interesting, and this next part is genuinely debated, not settled science. Some researchers think Homo sapiens brains were wired more for social imagination, reading intentions, planning around other people, imagining scenarios that hadn't happened yet. That same wiring is what makes human dreaming so narrative, so story-like, so detailed. Neanderthal brain shape, based on fossil skulls, seems to have devoted more space to vision and body control, and comparatively less to the regions tied to complex social thought. The theory goes that if sapiens dreaming was doing more, simulating not just a lion is chasing me, but my group needs a plan, or that stranger might be dangerous. That's not just danger training, that's strategy training, every single night, for free. While your body rested, Neanderthals may have gotten the physical rest. Sapiens may have gotten rest, plus rehearsal. And that gap, repeated over thousands of generations, might have been enough. But I have to be straight with you here, because a lot of viral science videos quietly skip this part. Threat simulation theory itself is contested. Some large studies found that threats show up in less than 20% of dreams, and successful escapes in less than 2%, numbers some researchers say actually contradict the theory. And nobody has ever directly tested Neanderthal dreaming because obviously nobody has ever recorded one. So this isn't science proves dreaming killed the Neanderthals. It's closer to this. Two separately real ideas, that dreaming may rehearse survival skills, and that sapiens' brains may have been wired for richer imagination, colliding into a hypothesis that's fascinating, but still very much up for debate. Still, here's what keeps me up at night. Pun fully intended. If any version of this is even partly true, then the dream you had last night wasn't random noise. The one where you were being chased, or you showed up late, or you lost something important. That might be the exact same machinery that helped your ancestors outlast an entire other species of human. Every single night, without asking your permission, your brain is still running the simulator, still rehearsing loss, still rehearsing danger, still, in its own strange language, trying to keep you alive tomorrow. We didn't stop being the dreaming species. We just stopped noticing it was ever a superpower. So next time you wake up from a weird dream, don't brush it off. Comment your weirdest one below. I want to see how many of them are secretly just threat rehearsal.